Hello and welcome from lovely breezy Colombo, and this is my big preview of the India-Pakistan encounter. I'm going to touch upon some very important points that should really help you understand where this game can be won or where this game can be lost. First things first, I know a lot of you want to know about the weather, and what can I tell you about the weather? Well, I have good news for you. Yes, rain is expected, but what I'm picking up from the locals, as well as the information that we're getting from the local Met department here, even if the rain comes, it is slightly earlier in the day, not during game time of India-Pakistan. So expect to see a full 40 over encounter. Even if the rain comes, must be a drizzle here and there, which, as I said, is great news. You're going to get an India-Pakistan game on time. So that's the first bit of good news. And I'm also relieved that the rain kept away on the eve of the game, because remember, Sri Lanka have been here in Pakistan have been here in Sri Lanka. They are used to the conditions, they have acclimatized to the conditions and know the conditions, and they got to have 2 practice sessions here as well. India's practice session was later in the day, and they have only 1 practice session, and there was a serious threat that it might rain in the evening and India might not get to practice. I'm happy to confirm the Indian practice went as ahead as planned. So 1 practice session, that too their practice session, it was in the center of the ground. Some center strips were used, so they got the feel of the ground and the conditions, which is good news for India going ahead into the tournament. And that practice session told us a few things, and that I'm going to zero in on the playing 11 from there. Abhishek Sharma was seen batting there, hitting some big sixes. What does that tell you? In all likelihood, he's playing the game versus Pakistan after missing out on a game because of a stomach bug. So he's in desperate need of runs. We saw him in Asia Cup do well against Pakistan, so it's good to have him batting in the nets, looking good. And then Suryakumar Yadav came to the press conference and kind of gave us an indication that Abhishek will be playing. He said that I've been told, Salman Ali Aga said that we would want Abhishek to play for India because we want to play against the best. So he said if the opposition captain wants to see him, so be it. That means we are going to play Abhishek. Of course, he was joking. Their plans would have already been in place, and Abhishek Sharma is playing. Then that brings me to the next point, and that is, what does India do? Does India bring in another spinner, or they stick with the combination that they've got so far with an Arshdeep playing alongside Jasprit Bumrah? That wasn't an easy question. Suryakumar Yadav also accepted it, said that this is a tough question. There are no easy answers because I've got great spinners, I've got great fast bowlers. I don't know which way to go. But then when he was asked a little later, he said that, you guys are saying so much about Kuldeep. Okay, I'll play Kuldeep as well. But you don't know whether he just said it in jest or whether he really meant it. We don't know. But he did give an indication that he might be playing Kuldeep. Kuldeep, has a great record against Pakistan, and teams are focusing on getting spinners here because of the conditions in Premadasa. So could that be the reason that they might be thinking of Kuldeep? Maybe the case. You ask me personally, and I'm going to tell you a few things about this ground which might help you decide what should be the right playing 11. First things first, everyone is talking about this being a spin-friendly ground, and I want to shatter that myth. This isn't a spin-friendly ground. This is a ground which sometimes the pitches are slightly slower, so makes stroke making tough. That's why 160-70 totals end up being winning totals. Let's not forget, this is the same ground where India, when they played the last white ball match, it was Mohammad Siraj that did very well. 54 all out was Sri Lanka. So it's a ground where there's a breeze that blows, the ocean breeze that blows, there's a bit of moisture around, so you get fast bowlers also come into it. So India have to be mindful of that as well. And as I said, this is not spin friendly track, these are slower tracks. So which fast bowlers do well? At the start, you'll get some swing seam movement. That is something that need to be wary of, and that's why I'm saying you're talking about Pakistan spinners. I will get to Usman Tariq a little later, but Pakistani spinners and Indian batter, that's not where the game is. I don't think this is a pitch where Pakistani spinners will trouble India. I think India has played these Pakistani spinners like Nawaz or Saim Ayub or Abrar or Shadab in even more sprint friendly conditions, and Indian batters have fared well. So I don't think Pakistani spinners are a threat. Every time Pakistan has done well against India or have beaten India on that rare occasion, it's their fast bowlers that have done well. So here sometimes there is something on offer for the fast bowler, and that's where I think India also needs to plan on. And that brings me to the Indian team. Bowlers, that'll get some movement at the start, and then later when the ball gets a bit old, the bowlers that can use cutters and slower balls will do well. And on that front, I think Indian fast bowlers are very good at that. You know, Hardik does that very well, slows the pace down sometime, cutters. Shivam Dube has shown that he can do that. Arshdeep does that very well too. Of course, Bumrah has a little slower one. He mixes up with his Yorker, so he becomes very tough. So I think overall, Indian fast bowlers also need to be looked at. As I said, indications are they might play Kuldeep. You ask me, I might still stick to an Arshdeep, go with a winning combination. But for me, there are no right or wrong answers. If India play Kuldeep, that's also thumbs up. It'll be a good team. India play Arshdeep, that's also thumbs up. India will play a good team. Only thing I'm not sure about is bringing a Washington Sundar in. That I think, you're just trying to be neither here nor there. Are you trying to get another cushion in your batting? Are you expecting him to put too many wickets? I don't think he's that lethal a bowler. He's a very good batter, but I think that's where you'll get confused. So long as India can stay away from that, focus on either Arshdeep, Kuldeep. If you keep it to these two, I think you're sorted. Now to that Usman Tariq question, and I know everyone's talking about him. See, I observed him very closely in the nets for the last 2 days, and there was nothing to the naked eye that I saw. And I've, seen sometimes spin bowlers that really catch your eye, spin bowlers that trouble batters, and I'm sometimes like, wow, this is a lethal bowler. Varun Chakravarti does that in the nets. Kuldeep on occasion does that in the nets. Suddenly will bowl a Jaffer. In the 2 days that I saw Usman Tariq very closely, I didn't see any out-of-the-box delivery that may have surprised me or I would feel scared for an Indian batter. There was nothing there. Seemed pretty okay with me, just tries to hit his length. I saw the Pakistani batters handle him very normally without being troubled. Now, there can be 2 reasons behind that. One, in practice, maybe he was not showing all his weaponry, is a possibility. 2, Pakistani players are kind of used to his variations and his unusual actions, so they were not being troubled. Maybe it will be a different thing for India. Both those things are possible. I'm not making a judgment there, but I'm just sharing with you what I saw of him. None of it that I saw in the practice session really, makes me think that he can be threatening for the Indian team. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not a threat. And again, a lot of people are talking about his action. I don't think it's his action that will be a bit of a problem. I must tell you that today the Indian team in practice session had a club level bowler from Sri Lanka who has this bit of a stop go action, that's pause that Usman Tariq has, that sort of a pause he had. Maybe they're trying to get used to that, but I don't think that is an area that will trouble the Indian team. I think Usman Tariq's weapon is the variation he carries. Now, I've seen a lot of his videos, I've seen some of his performances. He's got a carom ball, he's got a quicker one, he bowls a regular off spin, he's got the wrong one as well. So he has different varieties which are sometimes hard to pick, and I think those different variety of deliveries can cause Indian batters trouble, nothing otherwise. How should Indian batters approach him? Again, I was looking at some data and his performances. He does end up picking wickets, but every time he's picked wickets, it's not been a Jaffer of a ball. That takes me to the practice session that I was mentioning. Most times he's taken wickets or he's done well is when batters have tried to attack him. Remember, one other factor that comes into play at Premadasa, you will be playing in the center pitch, bang on center pitch, and the square boundaries are big, so that will also help him. Every time teams have tried to attack him, they've fallen prey to Usman Tariq. Every time teams have played him in a conventional manner and tried to take just 6, 7, 8 runs off his overs, they've been fine. So I think that can be a strategy that the Indian team can do. Try and take 6, 7 runs off his overs, get about 8 and over and plunder the rest of the bowlers. That is something that India can look at. But will India do it? Will India's batting philosophy change? That's the other big question. I'll try and answer that. See, if you get the kind of pitch that we've seen in the 3 matches so far here, maybe there's a point that India should alter their batting, attack in power play, be a bit cautious in the middle overs and then attack towards the end. You get to 180, 185 or even 175 match winning total, put Pakistan under pressure. That should be the normal plan. But I have a feeling that the pitch that I saw the pitch today, bang on center pitch, looked like a good batting pitch. I have a feeling that you will get the best batting pitch of this stadium. I'm not saying the best batting pitch of the tournament, because some pitches in India are flat beds and conditions are such. Here you don't get. But I think under the circumstances, the best batting pitch that you'll get. So if India want to continue with their attacking game, they can do that. You also don't want to be in a situation you're not attacking fully and it's a feather bed of a pitch and then you fall 10-20 runs short. So I think India will have to assess. I have a feeling that it'll be a good batting pitch. So if your par totals have to be readjusted from 170, 175 to 200, so be it. It could be a 200 par total sort of a pitch. And so India can then go with their batting approach. That's also something that India should be thinking about. And if the pitch is like that, I will still go back to an AajTak. You'll need a fast bowler to stem the flow of runs. So this is something that the Indian team also need to think about as far as the pitch is concerned. The other big question is the handshake. And both captains were asked about the handshake. Will they shake hands or not? And both gave very similar answers. Said whatever happens, we'll find out tomorrow. But this is the information that I'm picking up from the ground, that there is some sort of talk that the handshake will happen. There is some sort of an arrangement that the handshake will happen. So don't be surprised if you see the teams do the handshake. They've not shaken hands from the Asia Cup. Even in age group cricket, under 19, Asia Cup, emerging Asia Cup, women's tournament, you've had so many other matches being played. There have been no handshakes. But could they break away from the norm? And what I'm picking up, can that be true? That's what I'm hearing. But I'm not guaranteeing that. There's still time from what I'm picking up now and what may have been planned now till the time the match happens. Instructions can still come. Indian team can change their mind. I don't know. But this is what I'm picking up, so I'm sharing with you. I think we'll have to wait and watch what happens on the game day. But I'm getting indications that there could be a handshake. If that happens, I know that all hell's going to break loose, because that will become a major talking point. Some might appreciate it, saying, in cricket, do it, let bygones be bygones. But I know a lot of people will also say, why have you done that? What has changed from Asia Cup to now? What has led for you to change of this stance? And did then reports that suggested Mr. Mohsin Naqvi got his way in the ICC meeting, maybe that might come true because Bangladesh got their fair share. And did you agree to a handshake? Those things will come back. So I will still wait to see what happens once it's done. If what I'm being told is true and the handshakes happen, then there'll be a lot of controversy that will follow. We'll wait for that. Finally, before I wrap up my preview, I know this is a $1 million question. Everyone's going to ask me what's going to happen. See, it's a T20 game. On a given day, anything can happen. Zimbabwe beat Australia, and why I'm giving that example, it happened in the exact same ground where India and Pakistan will be playing. But if you ask me, I'll say 70-30 is, or even 75-25 in favor of India. Why do I say that? I think it's the host of match winners. For Pakistan to win the game, they have to rely maybe on a Sahibzada Farhan to have an outstanding day, or Usman Tariq to have an outstanding day, or a Shaheen Shah Afridi to have an outstanding. These are just few players that I think are big match winners that can change the game. Rest can play a supporting role. These can be match winners. Now the chances of every one of these players coming good on a given day may not be there. Even if one comes good, can that be a match winning sort of a performance? We don't know. On India's case, I always see this number of match winners, and I'll run out of breath talking about India's match winners, because from number 1 to number 11 you've got match winner. And I think that is that depth, that collection of match winners that India has, their overall record, all of these things put together, notwithstanding that India have just travelled here, not used to the conditions as much as Sri Lanka, but they've played a lot of bilateral cricket here. All things considered, I'd say India is still clearly the favourites, no matter which way you look at it. That might also bring that extra pressure, because some might say, Pakistan have nothing to lose, everyone's expecting India to win, so that will be the case. But I don't think it's as easy. There's pressure on both teams, and at the end of the day, you can talk about pressure, conditions, this, that. It's going to be the better team that wins, and more often than not, it'll be India versus Pakistan. So that's my take on this entire preview. Final word, sit back, relax, enjoy the game. But come on Sports Today, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, press the bell icon. I'll have loads of updates for you before the game starts, after the game as well. Mr. Gavaskar, Harbhajan Singh, lots of our experts will also be there. They are throughout there giving their insights as well. So for all of that, subscribe to the channel, give us a like on the video if you're enjoying this content, share it with your other friends who want to know all these insights that I'm bringing to you from Colombo. For the moment, Nikhil Naz signing off from Colombo. Bye bye.